as I said, welcome back to more Gamma World antics, etc. I think when we finished last week, we had kind of not got anything left hanging around, so that's kind of strange.
Nothing alive, at least.
Oh, well, indeed. But I was thinking more in terms of we hadn't forgotten to do any of the things that happened at the end of the fights and things like that. And you had, at least provisionally, we had identified that you were leaving the crumbling and possibly collapsing remains of the tower of the architect. So, unless anybody has anything else they want, we can perhaps move on slightly.
By the way, I have an incredible amount of Omega tech.
Ooh.
Am I just lucky or
breaking the rules?
Well, I think it's I'm not giving out any more than the book suggests. I think the game is keen to throw lots and lots of it at you, and have you use it and then lose it as you fail saving throws for it. But if you don't fail saving throws, you get to keep it and keep rolling with it.
But we keep keeping it. So
yes, and there are some that I don't even use because they are not useful right now.
Well, that's kind of the fun. Just you wait.
When they suddenly become relevant, who knows?
Never say never with stuff like this.
I'm
hanging on to those punching bags for a reason. Sooner or later, a stretchy leather sack is going to come in very handy.
I am really convinced that it will be.
Or the spectacles. We all know Geiger still has those spectacles.
I do,
yes.
Jonathan.
Yes. So, you were leaving the tower of the archivist, now sadly deceased, with his the tower perhaps collapsing, certainly structurally unsound.
That's sad.
And in your possession, you have one sleeping tentacled humanoid cat, who is clearly exhausted and still curled up in a sleepy cat position.
He sleeps a lot.
I am picturing you leaving similar to how you arrived in your truck, but across a bridge that goes from leaves the other side of the island and takes you close to this mysterious building to which Geiger was pointed as a potential location for science mice.
Wow, I love the way that sounds. Science mice, that's really cool.
Well, I want actual rather than potential, but yes.
Journeying out across the river, the light from the setting sun glistening on the slightly iridescent water, clouds gathering in the sky. I suspect pulled in a truck by Ochna.
I think so, yeah, probably.
With a dozing Kitty the back. Mark the Lemming, I believe, is also accompanying you.
Yes.
We will never live without him.
Mark the Lemming is a valued friend.
He's part of the family.
And I shudder to think of his fate as we drag him into whatever this mouse quest leads us to. I know.
Well,
we should send him home.
I know. I'm feeling really guilty about that as a player, but
Well, who knows what's happening in his absence anyway. So, yes, as you approach this strange building with the markings that suggest it's connected to these science mice, you see it's another one of these strange ancient buildings with all the windows, strange floor-to-ceiling windows, similar to the Archivist's Tower, but slightly lower to the ground, and more sprawling, several buildings all linked together in some places by weird metallic structures. And as I said, there are specifically glass in some windows, and strange flickering lights can be seen through some of them at some points. As the sun sets, you see it reflecting in windows and bouncing off it, and the wind decides to pick up. The blasted wasteland around this building. You see rubbish, bits of plastic, such things being blown across it as the wind picks up and the night draws in. And that's enough of my box text for now. I imagine you want to go in and explore. There's an obvious entrance way where there appear to be doors into it, but if there's other things you want to do first.
No, these people are probably friendly, like most people, so it'll be fine.
You sure you don't want me to sneak ahead and do some prowling?
You go ahead, Geiger. You go ahead. This is your place, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh no, I wouldn't want to get in without you guys. I mean, you've become a little bit like, and I hesitate in saying this and blush, in a weird, radioactive and iridescent way. Well, you're kind of like my family right now. And so it feels, and I'm really blushing now, inappropriate to experience something without one's family.
Well, Geiger, that's mighty kind of you to name us as kin. And I'm certain that there's a hot meal waiting for you back at the farm when we return. But right now, how about we go and fetch us some mice to talk to? Do you want to lead the way?
Yeah, I will do that. And I sneak ahead, and very tactily, I move ahead of the truck and try to, prowl around in a very tactical-looking way. My usual fake ninja shenanigans.
Okay, that all sounds like a thing that can happen. Are you parking the truck up and following along at some distance?
I think I will. You said the area around the building or buildings is particularly blasted and barren, correct?
Yes. I mean, it looks like it may have been quite clear back in ancient times and has only been scoured more clear by the big mistake and things since. So there's piles of rubbish and some.
Let's take the truck, depending on how far everybody says we get, but I'd like to take the truck closer to the buildings rather than farther. I'm not attempting to conceal it. So that it is, if not parked directly outside that entrance, at least it's a short walk. And in this particular case, I think I'm going to say to Mark, probably best if you came along.
What do we do with that sleeping cat?
I was wondering.
Try to wake it?
Well, Disket seems like kind of a loner to me. So I suggest we you could place that blanket of yours over him and maybe tip.
Yeah, let's make it a little bit cozy for him.
Right.
That sounds good.
Yeah, we'll pile some of our stuff up on top of the bed of the truck and make a little roof, and that should do it. Maybe write a little note. Went inside. Come if you want.
Sounds nice. So the apparent entranceway is a miraculously intact glass wall with a glass door in it. underneath
A lot of glass around here.
Fancy.
underneath a weird metal structure connecting two of these bits of building together. And that, if as I understood it, Geiger is rushing ahead so they can sneak ahead.
Mhm.
Then, as you enter, you will see there are that entranceway leads onto sort of a passageway between two buildings. There's the exposed brickwork on both sides, and slightly ahead of you to the left, there's a big yawning doorway into one of the brick structures.
I'm feeling like I'm close to a building not dissimilar to London's Shard right now.
The buildings are more similar to the Archivist Tower. They're sort of brickwork with big windows, and then someone at some point has come along and stuck glasswork around the outside of some bit.
Okay, gotcha.
So, are you trying to be sneaky, and do you want to make a stealth roll?
Absolutely. I have a fat +3 now. On level 3.
Okay.
For a total of 11.
Oh.
That's possibly my highest.
I was
sneak
going to
check.
say you actually may have sneaked slightly.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay. How shall I
That's
do
luck.
this?
Training paid off.
Right.
It comes with being a perfect human.
If you say so, Geiger.
So, yes, you are entering Geiger from the right-hand side. The sort of wide space between walls that leads into a dark and dark interior. To your left, you can see some furniture. To your right, as you are looking up to the top of my map, there is the remains of a staircase, but parts of it broken away.
Now your notation is individualized. So do those stairs go up or down?
Those stairs go up.
Okay.
Right? Did I get that
And
right?
so they would go up if they weren't broken, and
I see.
it looks like Geiger that they go up to a gantry that runs above the space that you are in. So where the sort of, I don't know if you can see it on your copy of the map. Copy. The sort of hatching thing running all the way down the middle appears to be a sort of gantry that runs across. That's a gantry that runs across the top.
So
But
if we were to go over there, we could look up and see that.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
And it's quite high up. It's probably about 3 squares up to get to the gantry.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's that, and
Looks like it fix it up for an ambush, doesn't it?
it could look like that.
We shouldn't assume, bad intentions from everybody.
Yeah, now that I'm in and I'm placing myself on the first unoccupied, they are all unoccupied. Well, the first inner square after the entryway, let's say
Okay.
a P9, I just shout, "Is anybody home?"
I mean, after all, I still don't quite understand what sort of a misunderstanding that you seem to have had with that archivist, Leica.
I'll try to explain to you another time.